I'm just gonna come out and say it. TBHX has been everything that I hoped it would be, and more. I made a video when the first episode dropped, saying that it had the potential to be a generational anime. And honestly, it's becoming that. Each episode has been better than the last, and if it keeps up with the pace it's currently going, I could easily see it becoming one of, if not the best anime of the year. And really quickly, I want to acknowledge that TBHX is not actually an anime. Technically, it is a Donghua, since it's Chinese, which is something that we're going to talk more about later. But I wanted to make that distinction at the beginning of this video to give the IP the flowers and respect that it deserves. Now, with that being said, we need to talk about why To Be Hero X is so great, and how it's truly setting itself apart from the rest of the anime sphere. And I think a big reason for that is because it's the complete package. There are a lot of anime that have a great story or incredible moments or even beautiful animation, but there's a lot less that have two of these aspects, and practically none that have all three. Even anime that are absurdly popular and beloved have their rough spots. For instance, Solo Leveling's story and side characters are very subpar, but its animation and hype moments are so good that most people have no problem looking past it. And there are countless other examples of this in one way or another, whether it's Seven Deadly Sins having a good story but horrible animation, or Sword Art Online having great animation but lacking those hype and series-defining moments. However, To Be Hero X doesn't have this problem at all. In an overall sense, I think that it is without a doubt the most complete anime to come out this year, and episode 2 and 3 really proved that to me. Because from the first episode, it was clear that the animation and overall themes were all there. It's not some silly fantasy show or glorified death battle. It's here to tell a real and complex story that critiques our own world, specifically society's obsession with celebrities and the dark side of pop culture. But as the show goes on, it's clear that the characters themselves are just as incredible as the story. Within the second episode alone, I went from hating Moon and seeing her as your quintessential bratty celebrity who has everything given to them, to seeing her as a tragic and complex character that I genuinely root for and want to see find freedom. And in the third episode, Firm Man went from some simple one-dimensional hero obsessed with his own image to a real person who sacrificed all the luxuries in the world to live a life that's his own and wasn't some character that people wanted him to be. Along with this, it's important to note that the animation and quality of the story over these past 2 episodes haven't dropped a bit. Moon and Nice's fight against Rek, for example, might be my favorite moment of the entire series so far. The battle was so hype and so beautiful, not to mention how much it meant from a storyline standpoint, with it bringing Nice and Moon closer together and creating a newfound sense of chemistry between them, and how it wonderfully portrayed just how destructive and poisonous the entertainment industry is, showcasing how it exploits and corrupts people, taking away everything that made them who they are, and leaving them as a pitiful shell of themselves. Because of all this, TBHX is a show that genuinely is hard to hate on. Like I said earlier, it has no inherent flaws and is pretty exceptional in every category. However, with that being said, there is one flaw that I've seen a decent amount of people complaining about, and that's the pacing. Some people believe that the pacing is too fast, and while I understand that sentiment, I don't agree with it. By its nature, To Be Hero X is a very fast-paced story, and there's a reason for that. It mirrors Linling's own experience, as he is suddenly catapulted into stardom in the world of heroes. Making the story move so quickly helps us, the viewer, better relate to and understand the problems and imposter syndrome that Linling is facing. But ultimately, if the pacing is too fast, to the point where it doesn't give the story and characters ample time to grow, then it doesn't matter how good the reasoning behind its speed is. But TBHX isn't like that. Sure, a lot happens in each episode, but it's so masterfully done that it never feels rushed or unnatural. Take Moon, for example. Her character arc in episode 2 is absurd. She develops so much in one episode, and the way that she is portrayed takes a 180. But it never feels ingenuine or unnatural, because there's a clear build-up leading to this point, even if we the viewers aren't the ones seeing it. For example, context clues like when she says there's no way she could answer any questions about Nice in episode 1 already hint to us that something about Moon is off. And in episode 2, that something is revealed, being that she hates being a hero and has wanted out of the job for a long time. Sure, it's shocking, but it's not shallow or plot convenience. Her thought process makes a lot of sense and becomes proof that being a hero isn't nearly what it's made up to be. And in a sense, Linling is the reason that she grows and changes so quickly, because him being completely disconnected from the life of heroes makes him a metaphorical bull in a china shop that honestly breaks Moon down with his authenticity and genuineness, getting past her sharp exterior so that we can begin to see who she really is behind her fake facade and hatred for the entertainment world. And because of that, I agree that the pacing is fast, but only to the extent that it is supposed to be. You've got to remember, this isn't a slice of life or slow burn. Linling's entire philosophy and sense of self is changing every episode, along with the world around him, and the pacing of the story perfectly fits that. Now that we've refuted the only real critiques of TBHX that I've seen, I think we need to circle back to what I referenced in the beginning of this video, and that's that TBHX is a Donghua. Now, I want to clarify that I'm the first person to say that classifications like this don't really matter. Some shows are just in the anime world, while others aren't. I know things like Avatar: The Last Airbender and Arcane technically are not anime, but nobody's gonna compare shows like that to Adventure Time. They're going to compare them to Full Metal Alchemist or Cyberpunk Edgerunners, because that's just the kind of space that shows like Arcane and Avatar inhabit. And that's exactly how To Be Hero X is. I understand that it isn't actually an anime, but for all intents and purposes, it is. And in my opinion, it has had the greatest impact of any Chinese Donghua on the anime world. The only other shows that I think could even compare are Link Click and Supercube, which I don't think have had the same kind of impact that TBHX is having, and they certainly don't have the same kind of potential. Because To Be Hero X isn't just becoming a popular anime, it's changing the way that people look at Donghua as a whole. And it's kind of funny, but a lot like Nice in the way he gains the public's trust by saving the day, Donghua as a whole is gaining the trust of the anime community thanks to just how good of a show TBHX is turning out to be. And that's the thing, we're only on the 3rd episode, so making a video giving it this much praise is pretty risky. But after seeing the standard just continue increasing since episode 1, I have trust. See what I did there? In To Be Hero X, and genuinely believe that it will end up being a generational anime. I think if a studio like MAPPA released TBHX in the form that it's in right now, with no changes to animation or anything, it would already be one of the most popular anime of the year, and have people comparing it to the likes of Frieren and Solo Leveling. But since it's not made by a big, incredible Japanese studio, its path to success is a lot harder. But I have no doubt that it will get there, and that it will change the way that people see Donghua in anime as a whole forever.